Hi, this is Satiris Basakropoulos from AskSatiris.com, and this is day 18 of my 30-day video challenge. And today's video is about 10 bits of wisdom to give to your children. So I'm going to do these off the cuff. I haven't written them out, so I'm completely doing them off the cuff, so I mightn't be instant with all the answers, but I'm going to go through these as best as I can on the spot. So the first bit of wisdom that I would give to my children would be not to believe the things that they see in the media and by politicians and stuff like that. So that would be my first thing that I would say to them, to always check out the alternative stories as well, and not just the main stories. Okay, so that would be one bit of wisdom that I would give to my children. Another bit of wisdom I would give would be to be very wary of the medical profession, to always be very wary of the medical profession. There's a lot of toxic drugs and toxic stuff that they give people. They don't actually try and cure anybody. They try and give people problems, and then they try to supply you drugs to patch up the symptoms of the problems, okay, in order to make money off you. So if you have some medical challenges or some health challenges, the first thing I would always advise is to go down the alternative, health route. Try different things before you go there. Completely last resort. In fact, with me, I wouldn't even go as a last resort. I prefer not to go, and that's just my take. I've seen a lot of family members and a lot of people I know and loved getting butchered in there, and I certainly am not going to be one who's added to the list, and if I am, it will be unconscious. They'll have to get me unconscious, because they're not getting me. If I've any form of consciousness, I'm not going to be going there. So that's my second one, to watch out for the medical establishment. The third one, which I think is very important, is to beware of the dentist. The dentist, I would say, causes nearly as many deaths as the medical establishment, though they're not pointed out. They do a lot of things which I think are questionable for your body, like giving you mercury fillings, like telling you to take fluoride, like giving you toothpaste with toxic cancer-causing carcinogens in them, root canals, which are very dangerous, which cause like a bit of dead flesh to be inside your mouth and rotten for years, which can cause you all kinds of heart problems, cancers, everything under the sun. I would avoid root canals by all means. Get the tooth taken out if you have to before you get a root canal. So that'd be my third piece of advice to my children. My fourth piece of advice would be to decide what you want, write down what you want, decide what you want, and do the things necessary to get whatever it is you want. Then decide what path you need to take to actually get what you want. One of the biggest problems I think people have in life is that they have set their sights too low, or they haven't set their sights at all, and they don't know where they want to be next week, next month, next year. They don't know what they want to get. They don't know what they want in their life and their relationship and their, health and their, what car they want to be driving. They just don't have any future planning. They're too busy, maybe going to the bar or trying to forget their work, or going and booking their next holiday because they want to forget about the job they don't like. because instead of focusing on the things they want, they work to make money doing something that they don't actually like. So, it's very, very important to actually list and write down all the things that you want, and, in what time period you're going to get them by. Have short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals, and review your goals regularly. Review them and see what you've done, what you haven't, and tick them off as you do them, and then make new goals. And that way you will actually achieve a lot of the stuff. You'll be amazed if you go back 5 or 10 years later, you'll find that a lot of the things that you've written down you will have done. So I think that's really a priceless thing. Advice for children. My other piece of advice with children would be about compounding. If you look after your money compounds at an astounding rate. But you need to be, the younger you are, the more your money will compound. So if you actually look after your money and you reinvest it and make a return on that money, turn it into an asset that produces more money for you, it's the fastest way to become rich. It's the fastest way to become a millionaire. So I would say, instead of getting your money and buying a t-shirt, buying a cappuccino, buying a load of rubbish junk food and stuff like that, to take that money and reinvest it into your business. And then, when you have a large amount of money, when that's doubled, when you've got 100% return on that money, say you do 100% return on that money every year, after 10 years, you'll find you probably have, maybe a few 100,000. Then you can pull 10,000 or 20,000 and you won't miss it. It'll still be compounding at a really, in 4 or 5 years' time, you'll be a millionaire after that. If you compound it, even if you take the 20 grand out. But if you take that 10,000 out in the beginning and pull it out to go on a holiday or something, and you leave no money compounding, you're going to waste maybe 5 or 10 or 15 years just to get back to where you were compounding your money. So that's a very important thing that, I think it's important for children to know, to understand that. I also, it's not something I'd probably say to them here, but one thing that I say to my children as well is I basically allow them things. So, I would allow them, to, if they wanted some alcohol or something, I would allow them to drink it. The funny thing is, I've only one out of my 4 kids who actually wants to drink any alcohol, and he might have a wee tiny bit of beer or a wee tiny glass of wine or whatever once every 6 months or once every year or something. And I'm the same. From I was, 3 or 4 years old, I was allowed to drink whatever I want. If I wanted a glass of port or wanted a glass of baby sham or wanted a glass of wine or whatever, I could have it at any time. And here I am, 44 years old. I think, the last time I had anything to drink was I was at a friend's house about maybe 3 weeks ago, and they, gave us a beer or something. And even after like one beer, I feel funny. I don't feel like I want any more. So I think when you don't allow your children to have things, don't allow them to do things and make it taboo, and then when they become 18, then they go crazy and they want to drink because they think now they're an adult and they're allowed to drink, and so on and so forth. And I think that's completely counterproductive. So I think, it's important to let the children, experience things and, not make them taboo. Guide them in the right direction. You still need to guide them in the right direction and say, look, you shouldn't do that because this or because that, but you don't want to make it a taboo subject, because it's like dangling the cart in front of a donkey, and saying you can't eat it, right? They're going to eat it as soon as they get the chance. so that's another important message for my kids. I would say as well, when it comes to when it comes to life, I would say to my children, the time goes very, very fast, and to do all the things that they want to do. So do all the things that they want to do. Make sure you do them. Don't wait. Don't wait and put things off for a long time. Just do what you want to do, as soon as possible, because we don't know how long we're around for. We don't know what'll happen to us tomorrow, and I think you should do all the things you want to do when you have the opportunity to do them. Another message I would also, bit of wisdom to give my children or peers, would be to look after, to be nice and look after other people as well. Because if you look after other people, okay, there's going to be some people who won't look after you, and that's fine. But if you actually go out and help other people and look after other people and, do the best for other people, generally karma will come back, indirectly eventually. It might not come back immediately. You might have some bad things happen to you, but I believe in karma, and I believe that, the things that you do in your life, in your business and whatever, come back. So if you do a lot of bad stuff to people, it's going to come back on you. If you are nasty with people, or you do certain things with people that aren't nice, it'll come back to you directly or indirectly. So, look after people, help them to get what they want, and you will get what you want as well. That's all I can actually think of for now. I don't think I've said 10, maybe I'm short a few, but it's quite late here, and that's all I can actually think of for this. But that's basically my messages. I would also tell people, I'd also tell my children as well, that they talk about conspiracy theories and they call it, these things conspiracies. As well as that, I find that a lot of things that are called conspiracy theories actually aren't conspiracies at all. They're actually very factual, and there's a lot of facts that actually point to the things. And believing the opposite of the conspiracy theory, what the government actually tells you, is really the fairy tale, which is impossible to believe. Because if you look at all the different angles, and you look at all the things they've done, and you look at all the lies they've told, generally you'll find that it's a lot of BS. So listen to conspiracy theories. Not all conspiracy theories will be right. Not everybody's going to be right. There's some people who are out there who are wacko and maybe don't, they're not right in the head. But a lot of so-called conspiracy theories are actually conspiracy facts. They're not theories at all. They're actually facts, and they're real. So you need to wake up to the facts that are going on in the world. The other thing is, which is very important, is ignorance isn't actually bliss. I mean, they have a saying, and they say it all the time, ignorance is bliss, and if you don't know something's happening, you're fine, you're in bliss, right? I believe that's completely wrong. I believe ignorance is a catastrophe. I believe people who are ignorant to the poisons and vaccines, people who are ignorant to what damage their dentist can do to them, people who are ignorant to, the fluoride in their water, and they're not drinking clean water, and GMOs in their food and stuff like that, and they're eating them instead of going and buying organic food and stuff. I believe that those, that ignorance is actually killing them and killing their family. I believe that, chemotherapy, 40% of people are still alive in 5 years if they have cancer and they don't have chemotherapy. 5% are alive in 5 years after the chemotherapy. More people die of chemotherapy than die of the cancer. So, I also believe that's a wacko thing. It was created as mustard gas to actually poison people, and now they're using it for people with cancer and charging them, hundreds of thousands for the treatment to make them, I think, sicker. So I think that's a BS thing. The hide cannabis. Cannabis completely heals cancer. It heals, loads of other diseases. And of course, if you have cannabis, they put a SWAT team on your door, and you're banned, and it's illegal, and it's demonized and stuff like that. And it's a natural plant that was here, and people be using for healing themselves for hundreds of years, up until the 1930s or something, when they banned it, so that they could bring their pharmaceutical crap in. So yeah, so that's it. I'm not going to say any more because I could go on for a long time probably. So that's it from my 30-day video challenge. 10 bits of wisdom to give to your children or your peers. And I will see you again in tomorrow's video. If you haven't already, feel free to follow me on social media. It's asksotiris.com. That's AskSotiris.com/social. And you can follow me on all the social networks there. And I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks very much.